Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and in today's video I'm going to try and share with you guys what it's like to spend a normal evening in a C1 wormhole, in this case a j144228, where we have the boss, which you can see right here at 150 kilometers from my position. Yeah, basically someone actually asked this in the comments, and I was planning to try and make a video like this for some time now. I just have never found the time to actually get down here and do it. So I basically just came online, and now I'm going to show you guys what I tend to do in the wormhole just when I first start my evening of some EVE Online. I'm also testing the overview a little bit. This is something I'm also working on in case I do want to go back into some live streaming. At the moment I don't have the time for it. I hardly have time to make larger videos, but who knows, I'd like to be prepared. Maybe if I have like a few weeks of vacations or something like that, I could try to do some streaming. So the idea is to make it not too easy for you guys to find me, but not to have too overwhelming an overlay either. So here we go. First thing I do when I come online, I do my PI. I try and do this every single day. When the program is still running, like here, sometimes I'm online a bit earlier or a bit later, I do stop the program and just reinstall a new one. So I'm quickly going to do that right here. Submit. That's done for the temperate planet, and here is the gas planet that we've done in the wormhole. So I don't go too much into detail about where the extractor heads are. Don't really care that much. It's doing quite okay, and that's it. It's the only two Pocos that we have in the planet, so it's also the only two planets that I run actively at the moment. Next step, of course, we've got 5 signatures, including QBT090, which is our static wormhole, so 4 new ones that I have to scan. So let's get to it. I can decloak pretty safely right here. If someone would choose to engage me here, the pulse guns will actually take care of them. And then, yep, let's get started on the scanning and see what we've got on the menu in the wormhole today. So there we go, recloak, and I also choose to do the scanning before I go and take a quick look around the wormhole to see if anything shows up on the scan. The reason for that is depending on what kind of sights I have and what kind of ship would show up on the scan, it'll already give me a warp in without me needing to do the scanning afterwards. So here we go. PJD is going to be the first signature I'm going after, and that's another wormhole. So let's see if we can locate that. Pretty close to 123, planet 3, so that's actually pretty close to the center of the wormhole. If anything would be happening here, they would see my probes, but they would have no idea that I'm in a Nemesis. So there we go, save locations. I'm doing this in a separate folder called signatures, and I'm gonna call this PJD wormhole, and I don't know where it goes yet. Next up, GZU, and that one seems to be pretty close to planet 5. Planet 5 is also the planet where the offline post from the Russian is. So that is something that we know as well. We are right here, planet 6, and on basically the other side of the system is where the Russian put up his post, and where stuff will show up on the scan. So there we go. And there is also another inactive post from quite a long time ago. I think it's a medium Caldari post somewhere on planet 2, I think it is. But we've not seen anything about that one in quite a long time, so that's just a completely dead stick. And what are you? That's another wormhole. Well, that's quite interesting. Already means 3 entrances into j144228. It means some risk. If you only have the static, there is very low chance for some actual force to come in your wormhole. But right here, GZU, depending on where they will come from, you know, stuff like dangerous unknown space, you know, C5, C6, that can be some quite powerful corporations in there. So it's just something to keep in mind. Next up, UZQ. Let's see what that one is. I'll also try to keep an eye on this scan, although close to planet 6 they're probably not going to show up anymore. And man, that's Okay, it's actually a lot higher, so that's why the signature is so small, only 2.5%. I'm doing this with core probe once. In the Nemesis, I have no problems. I can scan anything that comes in the wormhole, or I hope so. I hope that this signature is not going to prove me wrong. But I've not felt the need to use like faction probes for the regular probing. I do have faction probes in my frigate that I use for the hacking, because if I happen to do that in another wormhole, I do want to save as much time as possible. But in the Nemesis right here, when I first log in and do the initial scan of the home system, I feel that, well, the cheap stuff will actually do. You've got some time. That's a relic site, all right, so that's pretty interesting. And a pretty hard one, so I'm suspecting a sleeper relic site. Let's see if I'm right. UZQ is Forgotten Perimeter Power Array. Yep, so UZQ, relic and sleeper. That's how we always put that stuff in our corporate bookmark, so everyone knows what's available or what there is to do. Next up, let's go a little bigger, go a little lower. We've got AIS, and we'll see what that one is, but that's okay. Potentially this can be quite good if there is something like a Talokan frigate in there, or a Talokan relic, and then a gas site, so that's not going to be too special, but okay, let's go. And then there's only the static QBT that is still there, but it will be at the end of the natural life cycle. But I'll just wait, I think. So there we go. So that's AIS gas. Okay, that part is done. I can recover my probes, and then what we'll do is we'll see where the two wormholes, QBT, should really edit that. Edit location. Should be HiSec, and then we'll see where the other two will lead. So warping at 30 on PJD, and let's see what kind of neighbors we have today. That's always different, of course. Sometimes you get nullsec, lowsec, other wormholes that could potentially be good for us. Dangerous unknown space, that's actually a bit of a risk for us. So it's always something new, which of course does make C1 living quite fun in my opinion. Center of the system looks quite okay, nothing on D-scan, close to the sun, and here is that Kaldari boss. And here we are approaching the wormhole. Let's check it out. That looks like just an unknown parts of space. Yeah, unknown parts of space, beginning to decay up to medium-sized ships. So I can just quickly edit that, put in unknown. God damn it. Unknown, there we go. And so we know that's like C1 up to C3. It's very likely, if I look at this, maybe C2 or something like that. And potentially, if there would be nothing to do in the wormhole, I could go and scout that out, try and find some other of those pirate relic sites that can potentially yield a lot of money. Something like that is always a possibility. Maybe some sites if there's no sign of any activity. Next wormhole, GZU. Let's see where that one leads to. Keep an eye on D-scan, and here is the boss from the Russian that you can see without the force fields. Quite a lot of defenses though, but all of that is okay as well. And that looks like unknown parts of space as well. Actually looks like the exact same class. Unknown parts of space, also beginning to decay. So edit location, unknown, and then if someone else would come online from the corporation, they know exactly what to expect, and this has to be HiSec, of course. So that's quite okay. Next up, I have gone across pretty much the entire system here. It's the center, and then planet 5, and then our planet. Then you've probably covered 80 to 90% of the entire wormhole system. I'm going to trigger the gas site. So it's a minor reservoir, but after 20 minutes after the first warp in, there will be a few sleepers that will spawn in there. So I tend to trigger all of the new sites gas sites right there, just right away, get rid of that, and then I can still choose to mine the gas if I really don't have anything else to do, but that's like pretty much a last resort for me. But it is something that we've grown accustomed to doing. Just this act, here we go. I warp in on the wormhole. There's a C72 and C70. I actually think the C72 could be half decent money for your time, but just having done this, it's good enough. In 20 minutes there will be some sleepers for me to shoot as well, and then we are off to the drop, where I will switch ship, and I'll quickly go and do that relic site. This is actually how I do this. I'm not going to scout that out first, just in case. I mean, I've done enough descanning across the system. I should be okay. In fact, I will try and save a little bit of time as well. Decloak, reload my probes, just get that done and get that ready. Keep an eye on descan. But it actually looks okay. There are 2 wormholes. They could have other people, active other people on the other side, but I think we can take the risk. Generally, this is an okay situation. So I will access vessels right here. Yep, here we go. Took a little bit of time. I'm going to grab Bruce Willis, my Armageddon, which is ready with mobile tractor unit, and then we will go to the relic sleeper site, warp within 0, activate the damage control, and yeah, let's go and make some money. Hopefully there is something like a Talokan derelict frigate or scout ship or shuttle, I think. Not sure what they are called. That can be some really good money, and that would be pretty awesome. So here we go. Beautiful ship right here, and yeah, the big fish of j144228 at the moment, except for the Thanatos that I do have in there. And with the announced changes from CCP Rise, where you can no longer assign the fighters, it may actually see some action. It's something I'm contemplating. I need to finish the fit, then maybe adapt it a little bit, but it may actually see some action if and when those nerfs do happen. It would become completely useless outside of a post defense in case of a post bash, but honestly, if they can get on top of the post we've got going there. Ooh, and that actually looks, yep, look at that, derelict Talokan frigate, pretty awesome. So let's try and do this as quickly as possible. But as I was saying, if they can get on top of the post, a carrier is probably not going to be able to stop them anyways. And so at the moment we were using them for post bashes, for Poco bashes, add the fighter DPS to some Taloses with high gun DPS, much better than the 5 hobgoblins that they can normally use, and it was quite useful, and the carrier was not at any risk. But if they take that ability away, honestly, it's just, well, what am I going to use the carrier for then? So I may just take it out then. We'll see how all of that turns out. For now, here we go. Let's do this sleeper relic site. Potentially it gets some nice money in it. It is important now that I keep an eye on this scan, of course, while I try and finish this site as quickly as possible. So there we go. No need for missiles just yet, I think. We'll do that on... Well, actually here we get some misses, so I will add some missile damage on this one. That was better. Keep going, and yeah, that should be okay to stop here. Boom, you are next. Let's try and oh, sister core scanner probe. Well, there we go. Choices will have to be made. Do I continue to run the site or not? It's sister probe. The truth is, of course, there is nothing else of interest in the wormhole. So it's not like I'm leaving behind a pirate relic site or anything like that. So I actually think, oh, actually shooting one of my guards, you bastards, that continuing this here is probably the best. But that is interesting. Let's also see where I am. I'm here, so it's probably someone scanning this part right here. Yeah, could be from anywhere, of course. Yeah, alright, awakened escort, that should be decently fast. They stopped shooting my guards. Yes, they did. Probe is gone. Maybe he noticed me on this scan, although I'm probably not visible from like the sun or the house ecstatic at the moment. But yeah, this is the daily life in a wormhole, right? You try and get the money going, you try and do the sites that that will yield you some money. This one with this Talokan frigate is actually pretty important to try and get that one done. And as a result, you have choices to make. You know, there is almost constantly people that will take a look at your wormhole, and they may have good or bad intentions. So, well, we're aware there were sister scanner probes. We got to be a little bit careful. Once that reload is done, should be able to quickly blast away these frigate sleepers. You are next, awakened escort. They're still looking okay. And honestly, if he's going to scan the entire wormhole, he still has to scan this one, so I should still have like 8 of those probes showing up. The most likely is that he's now scanning that unstable wormhole. Let's see if I can see. It's not QBT. So I would say this is what you have to do, of course. You have to theory craft a little bit around what could be happening. And I would say it's most likely that he comes out of the ice ecstatic. Although that would be a bit of a risk because it is bound to be end of natural life cycle. So does he come from there? Good question. Maybe one of the unknowns is a possibility as well. Boom, you die too. Yeah, I'm going to shoot all of this here as well. Try and get through this site as quickly as I can. And yep, close eye on this scan, close eye on this scan. Oh, there we go. More probes. 5 probes here now. Very interesting. It is still possible that he's then scanning one of those signatures there again, but at a very wide orbit. So probably scanning number 3 out of the 4 signatures that he can scan, and then he'll end up with this one. So let's try and finish this as quickly as possible. Well, shoot those. Watchman, watchman, watchman. I mean watchman, watchman, escort, escort. So not the toughest of targets. That should be okay. I've been repping continuously a bit much though. But this should be okay. Come on, keep going. And now we've got more. There we go, 8 of them. So no doubt about it. He's also scanning this down. So I should hurry up. Come on, destroy that. This one sounds like a good target. Yeah, a bit of a risk, but I'm going to take it. We'll see what if something comes in or what comes in. It could always be interesting. And you guys start shooting. Now I'm not going to use the missiles anymore. I actually feel, and it's going to be better for me to save them just in case something like a Tech 3 or a battle cruiser comes in here. Then we are ready to fight. Try to save a bit of cap for the armor wrapping here as well. Now I should go down pretty quickly now. And watchman down. Still probes. Now they're gone. Was that fast? Well, for sister probes it was okay, I would say. Now I need to keep a close eye on this scan though, because if he decides to come here, it's going to be any moment. Shouldn't be a long warp from the center of the system, which is the most likely. So close eye on this. Alright, scan. Final target, that should go down no problem. You see those watchmen, they are actually perfect for the guards. And close eye on the scan. Who is it? That scanned out my wormhole here as well. No one from the corporation. So there we go. Still nothing visible. So the most unless it's cloaky ship, of course. Let's break out the salvage drones, get that done as quickly as possible as well. Get some wrecks. This is more efficient. One of the viewers actually told me that this works out better, and it's absolutely true. Get individual drones on individual wrecks and they will actually salvage quite a bit faster. 3 more for the tractoring, so that's just a little bit more time needed. And that was the top drone. Okay, that was second to last drone. And this scan remains empty so far. I think I can still target you. And there we go, get some more money. And yep, close eye on it, but doesn't look like any real visitors. Honestly, if they had come, it's the only thing of any real value. And they would probably have come here by now, unless we are in a situation where it's a cloaky ship that sees my Armageddon here and now needs to get his buddy or his buddies together to prepare an ambush. I think I can target you, and that's not bad right here. 2 first melted nano ribbons, so that's quite okay. And you can start on that one first. Anything else I still need to target? Yep. Okay, that's number 3. D-scan, D-scan, D-scan. And then just 1 more over there. Coming in. Alright, looking quite okay. It's still going decently smoothly so far. And D-scan is still empty. Cap looks quite okay too. And 5, 6, yeah, looks like we are there for the count. All aboard, yes they are. Then I can just stack this 10 million in blue loot and scoop this one to cargo. So that is ready. Just a little bit of waiting for the salvage drones, and hopefully grab me a couple more melted nano ribbons. That would of course be welcome. The idea here now, of course, is I have to make a choice when I go back. Do I come back in like the Nemesis and try to catch whoever was there, or do I go for the side as quickly as possible? It's a choice I have to make. Honestly, I feel I'm going to go for the side as quickly as possible. They still have not shown up. It's very unlikely that someone in like a Helios or a scanning frigate going after the pirate relic sites is going to stick around in a wormhole where there are none. So he's much more likely, I think, to move on to one of the other 2 unknowns. Maybe try his luck there. Although he's probably aware of my presence as well. But I actually think just going for the loot, going for the money as quickly as possible right now is going to be the best move. And 4 more wrecks to do. A little bit of water. And it's all good. So there we go. 3 more. Come on, salvage drones. They should be faster now with 2 or 3 of them on one. So get going, please. This is actually the longest and most dangerous part of our combat anomaly and combat signature activities. It's the looting, it's the salvaging that does still take a little bit of time, especially when you're alone. If we're with 2 and it's 10 salvage drones, it's done really quite quickly. In fact, it's often done before the final wreck is tractored in. But if you're doing it solo, yeah, it takes a bit more time. 1 more wreck, emergent watchman wreck. Unfortunately, no more melted nano ribbons so far. And That was a couple of melted nanoribbons, so let's go to drop as quickly as possible. Go, go, go. And if I do a stack all, boom, 5 of them. So that was 3 melted nanoribbons in the final wreck. Not bad, not bad. And now we've got derelict. Can I save that location? No, it doesn't look like it. But okay, keep an eye on this scan, of course. But I honestly think we'll be okay. And that's not bad. 5 melted nanoribbons, 10 million in loot as well. That's like 26, 27 million just from the sleepers. And that's just from one sleeper combat site done. So that's quite okay. Drop is coming into view. Here we go. And let's have a quick look here. We are at 51 million, bringing that up to 78, so 27 million from just the sleepers. Not bad. Axis vessels go into the Heliopolis. Where is my exploration ship? Right there. And we're back to the relic sleeper site, and yeah, hope that there's not like someone else that was keeping an eye on it, waiting for me to leave and bounce on the Talokan wreck. We will cloak up, of course. This should be a bit faster. So there we go. That looks decently empty. Orbit at 500. Well, oh, he did find my order. Okay, here we go. And it's derelict Talokan frigate. And that's what that looks like. Really cool, of course. It has a lot of lore behind it. And potentially it's got some nice loot. We can stop this one. We can start targeting. And let's see what kind of a value we can get out of this. So here we go. We're slowing down nicely. Let's do the hack. Very simple hack normally. And it's just a green core. And here it is. And we grab 83.4 million, so not bad loot, and I immediately go to drop with value like this. I'm not going to risk it, but yeah, that's a clean 100 million just like that. Not bad. So cloaky we go, and it's a small malfunctioning oil section, 58 million. That's really making me most money here. Forest V-Pool or Confessor, of course. 35% base chance of success for the research. Not bad, but we're actually opting for the money at the moment. I'm not going to do the research, so this goes into the loot division as well, bringing me at like 110 million, so definitely very nice. I'm going to pick up the rest of those containers. I actually want to try and clean up the wormhole a little bit. Look at how much stuff we actually have on the scanner at the moment. It's quite old. I prefer it when it's a little more empty than this. There's actually a lot of potential stuff where there could be people, or that could attract people, and I don't want to attract too much attention either. That's just my personal preference. So we are back once again. Let's give it an approach order. Orbit at 500, and let's grab the rest of this. It won't be worth much, maybe a few 100,000 ISK, but it does mean that the signature will be gone. You should definitely stop by now. God damn it. That was quite a bit too long, I think. Well, it's okay now. So again here, very easy hack. That should not be a problem. In all likeliness, somewhere on the other side of my start. In fact, exactly on the other side of my start. And that's an empty one. Very nice. Next one is at 500, so let's go. And in the meantime, I do keep an eye on D-scan, but we can also enjoy the scenery. Here we go, some sleeper installation right there. Looks pretty cool. Hopefully someday we'll be able to go in there in like a dust version of our characters. That would be really cool. Something that I definitely dream about since they've teased that with like a concept of it. And very easy core. So grab that. 81,000, as you can see, not great, but if you are into Tech 3 production, of course, this is also the kind of stuff you'll want. This scan is still clear, a bit of bouncing. Maybe just another quick burst then. And another forgotten sleeper artifact. Doesn't look very sleepery, but don't overshoot, don't overshoot. Yeah. Oh, I thought I would overshoot and that the hack would close, but it didn't. Very likely on this side then. Yep, there we go. Here's the core. And again another two of them. And orbit at 500, quick bursts. Target. And yet not great, but we got potentially the best value in the wormhole. Has already been covered by me as quickly as possible, so it's all good. This could really be an overshoot. Yes, it is. Just be a bit patient. And again, sister core scanner probe. So someone is still active here. That's actually kind of weird. Are they coming from the HiSec? Is it the new HiSec? No, it's not. So let's try to find the core here as quickly as I can. Don't even know where I start anymore. I was a bit startled to see sister probe here again. So drop we go. And yeah, at this point it's going to be Nemesis. Let's see if we can figure out what the hell is going on inside our wormhole. But at this point I can also say job well done. This UZQ is gone. Relic sleeper site. And it's 110 million, so it's already a good payday. I can pretty much afford to lose a couple of ships just because of doing this site first. So very nice. We'll drop you in the loot division as well. Like that. And yeah, Nemesis time, I think. Let's see if we can figure out who is doing what in Go Central. So wormhole at 20. That should be the HiSec one. Let's check it out. And yeah, basically I feel that this is actually a pretty good example, a pretty good show of what it's like to live in a C1 wormhole, you know. Not that the amount of ISK I've just made here is like an average for every single evening, but I would say that this happens easily once a week, and that we get one of those sites, and man, look at that, full sister core scanner probes. So someone is scanning everything from somewhere. The question is a little bit from where. Ooh, and it's actually end, right? End of natural life cycle. Yes, it is. Okay, interesting. And he's actually, looks like he's scanning this, so it could be in that one wormhole on the C5. Which one was that? GZU. Okay. Let's go check that one out quickly. Maybe at 20 again should be all right. A Mars shuttle. A Mars shuttle on this scan. Yeah, so it's okay. This tells us quite a bit actually. Is he going to come and drop on the wormhole? There he is. Okay, grab the information. I'm going to post her name in Corp. Employment history 2013, so not that old. Member of Federation Navy 3rd Fleet. Attributes 80 members, quite a lot. but the probes are still there. So yeah, GZU will check it at 20. But this happens a lot, you know. You're doing a couple of sites and all of a sudden, goddamn, there's activity. We've actually been surprised by how active a C1 has always been, especially if, like here, you have 2 other unknown wormholes. The chance is really big that someone is doing something inside your wormhole, and maybe you can catch a couple of them, which would of course be pretty cool. But from unknowns, from like C1 up to C3, the risk of like a big fleet is a lot lower. If you see an unknown wormhole, that's when you start seeing the Tengus, the legions, all of that good stuff, and then you do have to be a bit more careful. All right, good intel. This is part of it as well, of course. So if I see someone else from this corporation, let me see what you guys can actually see from that. Yeah, if I see someone else from this corporation, I know it's very, very likely that they actually are doing a little bit of logistics or something from one of the unknown wormholes. But the probes are still there. Someone is still looking for something, and the only thing left is actually a gas site. So that's FOK. Whoa, I was actually pretty close on this warping. Another possibility that happens quite often is the sun. Let's check that one out at 50.
Warp drive active.
And they could be scanning the other unknown or the gas site. All of that is possible. But where do they come from? And yeah, this is the game, the chase, the hunt that happens quite a lot in a wormhole whenever there's activity. This does mean that I'm not going to go out there and risk a battleship or anything like that for a normal combat site. The sleeper relic site with the Talokan frigate was definitely worth it, and that was quite a little bit of money here as well. But now we know there's activity, there's a lot of activity. The second time we see these probes here, so we gotta be a little bit careful. And I would say it's a cloaky situation. That's pretty much certain. The most likely is the high-sec wormhole. Should I drop by the gas site and do that? Honestly, it's just not going to be worth it at the moment. If someone else from the corporation comes online a little bit later, we'll probably do the rest of like the perimeter ambush points, the phase catalyst nodes and stuff like that. You can easily see 20-25 million from one of those combat sites as well on average. Let's just stick on the high-sec wormhole and end it there. I think we've been going for almost 40 minutes, so it's quite okay. But I would say, yeah, this is pretty much an average evening in j144228. You know, you get to do a couple of combat sites, you get to do a couple of relic sites as well. That happens quite often, in fact, almost every day, I would say. Make maybe 50 million on average. It's maybe even a little bit low. I'd say 50 million consistently every single evening, and then you have the outliers like the site that I just did here today. And yeah, activity, you know, probes that show up, people that show up on these scans. Sometimes it's more dangerous, sometimes it's less dangerous, sometimes it's an opportunity for you to kill something, sometimes not. That all depends, but it's constantly different. You constantly have different neighbors, you constantly come out in different types of spaces and all of that good stuff. It has a lot of variety. You can definitely sustain your boss and losing ships here and there. Don't go completely overboard, of course, but it's a good money maker. It's a lot of variety. It's a lot of fun, in my opinion, living in a C1 wormhole. So there we go. I'm going to stop the video right here for you guys to hopefully enjoy and get an idea of what we actually do when we come online in EVE Online at the moment. And I'll try and figure out and see if I can find who the hell is still using sister core scanner probes at the moment on something, and if any of that actually leads to something, of course I'll let you guys know. But for now, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.